All right. We are live. We are live on all platforms. Got people coming in on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. So definitely help us out here. Ooh, I got to change the name here. Didn't even do that. So welcome in, guys. Definitely glad to have you in here for episode 10 of Morning Market News. So you guys can like and subscribe, and follow us, and share. Likes and shares are free. We really appreciate it. Help support this channel because talking about finance and helping everyone make money is kind of taboo. So hopefully we can get this shared and get more people in. So we got some crazy things going on. There's actually more testimony being involved with the SPF case. A lot of other things going on financially, unfortunately, in the markets. But let's go through our morning routine. So welcome in. My name is Sal. We got Cody over here. We're Simply Investing, and we go over all things crypto, stocks, business, real estate, economy, and everything. We also do a lot of other fun lives in the evening too, kind of going over fraud schemes, how to better build your wealth, build a business. We also have a Patreon only stream every Thursday. That'd be today at 6 p.m. But every morning at about 9:30, we do market morning news. We also do what's in your portfolio every Sunday morning, and then what's in your business every Saturday morning. So just keep that in mind as if you guys want to follow us and join in on the lives. All lives are on YouTube if you want to go back and check them all out. Really appreciate that if you want to see all our past works. But let's get into the crypto industry. We got the greed and fear index slightly up over yesterday, up at 72. So we're starting to rise again. We got the market cap at 1.27 trillion, up about 0.25%. We have trading volume at 52 billion, down 10% from yesterday. We got Bitcoin dominance at 53%, ETH at 17.2%. We also have Bitcoin still in the 34,000, cracked 35,000 yesterday, right around when I said it would, right around noon, early afternoon. And then we have Ethereum back over 1,800. We got Solana starting to come back down from its $33 high yesterday. We got XRP holding 55 cents. We got Chainlink still getting close to $11. Polygon still in the 60-cent range. Polkadot still holding in the 420 range. So it has not really changed, down only 0.02% on the day. We have Litecoin at just shy of 70 cents. We also have Stellar at 11 cents. Cosmos Atom at $7, still about 0.5% up on the day. We got Hedera still at 5 cents, and we have Quant breaking through at 106, about 6.5% up on the day. Shout out to Big Jerome, welcome in, glad to have you in here. One of our great moderators and supporters. So thanks for sponsoring the live there. Hope we get more people in here and see if we can get the likes up over 15K. That seems to have been our best fare. And shout out to Kenneth Quinon. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, but Kenneth, thanks for your follow. Really appreciate you being in here. Glad to have you in here. We're going to talk all things business and finance and economy. We got a lot of things that a few things we got to go over with today before we get into our Q&A session at the end. So, but if you do have anything, uh, let's go ahead and start this live. If I do miss your comments, we do have a couple of our moderators in, but they're not all in. So bear with me, but I'll try to shout out everybody as we go. And also, I'm going to try this time to also pay attention to the YouTube chat as well, because I keep forgetting to switch back. So shout out to Crypto Dream. Glad to have it in here. So we're gonna definitely gonna have some fun on this live. And shout out to you, Kenneth Close. It's okay, learning, bro. Yeah, I'm glad you're not a fan, because I hate getting people's names wrong, especially people. It's you don't want to call someone's name wrong or out of their name. I think it's very disrespectful. So I always try my best to make sure I get people's names or usernames right as I see them. But thanks for coming in. I do see we got some other longtime supporters. Jinty, good morning to you too, buddy. Glad to have you in here. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. We're going to get started. I do want to say, guys, if you didn't watch last night's stream, but I want to say that FTX, the bankruptcy trustee of FTX, is going to be liquidating $100 to $200 million worth of crypto every week from pretty much from November on. So just be aware of that. They're going to be liquidating Chainlink. I think they have Chainlink, of course, Doge, but nobody cares about Doge. Bitcoin, Ethereum, their own FTX token. So if any of you still got FTX token, it's done. They're going to be liquidating whatever they can to get off of that. Aave and there's one other there, but it wasn't one I was familiar with. So, but Aave is one in the top 100, and it's definitely going to see a downturn, as they have, I think, about $700 million of the token in there or something like that. So it's definitely going to see as that money gets liquidated, but they're trying not to hurt the markets, and they've already recovered about $7.5 billion for for people who have suffered in that. So good job to them, but it's looking pretty damning for SBF. Today he's on the stand today, so we'll have to wait till the end of the day to find out what happened. So, but we'll keep going on. We'll keep that on the board for us, so we keep going over it for you guys. I know odds are a lot of us have been affected by the FTX debacle, whether indirectly or directly. But I do want to kind of go over Solana again. It looks like the pump has ended with it, because the rest of the market's still going up, but Solana is now down 5% on the day. We were talking about it yesterday, and it's still dropping. Let's pull up go to KuCoin, pull up that logbook for you. But it looks like someone tried to really pump this hard, and the whales and VCs definitely cashed out. Part of my thoughts on Solana is it's just it has too much negative news around it, and FTX played a huge role in pumping up the value of it. Shout out to System 31. How's your stock? It's down again. It's like we're gonna be down for a while on it. Actually, I haven't even really checked because I'm too afraid to check. So, and yes, I am afraid. Even though I'm used to catching L's, I'm pretty afraid to look. So let's find out. Let's log in. Oh, I'm up 1.3% today. All right. Total of what was it? A total of 36,000, almost $37,000. Okay, well, it'll probably go back down. Shout out to CV Crypto. What's going on, people? Good morning to you too, buddy. Glad to have you in here. Hope you can enjoy the live. Really appreciate your support here, and comment as you please there. Shout out to System 31. How much more do you think things will drop? Stocks will probably drop another 10% within the next 6 months. I mean, it's just been going down, but there's some positives. The earnings call for NLY, which is another one of my major holdings, is bouncing back after a good earnings call. They are increasing dividends, so it's definitely looking like we're heading in the right direction. They are came in at 66 cents a share per 69 cents. So I definitely I see it stabilizing, but they since they primarily deal with mortgage-backed securities, they're definitely going to be suffering a little bit. But I don't the stock market's going to take a long time to drop the full 10%, but it's just going to be a steady drop. But I'm gonna be dollar cost averaging in along the way. But back to Solana, because we do have some good news with Solana. They've proposed it's poised for along with ADA for an ETF. So someone out there is trying to get a spot ETF for Sol going. So we'll have to see. I don't know why people are sitting here trying to be bearish. There's just really a lot of news. I don't even see a lot of active people posting about it. Yeah, there's not a lot going on. Just a lot of news and hype around spot ETFs with it and things like that. So, shout out to CJ for the follow. Really appreciate you, buddy. Glad to have you in here. Hope you're enjoying this live. Let's see here. I also got to get this shared too. So, with that saying, I wouldn't put any money in Sol. I'm still watching Sol for possibly a degenerate trade if I was going to make a degenerate trade in crypto. But if they're right now, Sol's open on derivatives on crypto.com, and I think I might place a bet for it to go down. Cody, are you there? I think he checked out. Give me one second.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm sorry. I've been playing the game.
Oh, no worries. What are some of your thoughts on Sol? Because I'm thinking about putting in a short on Sol on the derivatives.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad play.
Yeah, because like I think the VC the artificial pump of it's done because it's now dropping 5%. But I want to see where it's going. So let's go ahead and go back over to KuCoin, check out the charts on it. Let's share this one instead.
I actually just bought some ETH this morning, so that's good.
Okay, there you go.
We have some stuff dropping right now. We have Dogecoin down 5.5% in the last 3 hours to 7 cents or
Yeah,
0.007.
yeah, there is some dropping. The blue chip cryptos are not really suffering. We got Bitcoin.
Quant's suffering at all.
No, it's the usually it goes opposite. So once quant starts really going up, it's the rest of the market's about to go down. But it looks like people are pulling out profits as Bitcoin's dropped under 34,000, Ethereum's under 1,800. Looks like some people are cashing out some profits here. Dogecoin is dropped 3.5% in the last hour. Shout out to El Ginti. Do you have Avalanche? I do not have Avalanche in my portfolio, but I do watch it. The cryptos I have in my portfolio are Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, DOT, Chainlink, AdShare, Litecoin, and that's it. And I'm about ready to add a few others. Oh, I'm sorry, and Quant. I don't know how I forgot Quant. Quant's in there as well. Alrighty. Let's see here. But let's take a look at Avalanche. Where the hell are you? There you are. I don't know. It's up almost 1% on the
Yeah,
day. It's dropping rapidly.
I like Chainlink a lot. AdShares is a good one. That's a good pump.
Yeah, AdShares is definitely good. Do I have the right one in here? If you could, I got two of you on here. Okay. Let me just try to adjust your audio. Make sure it comes through okay for you. All right. Yeah, AdShares is another good one because it's a gaming token revolved around advertising on the play to earn gaming platform. So I think it's going to do very well in the bull run, and right now it's at 50 cents. I could pull that one up after we go over Avalanche. Because Sol's looking like there's still a lot of buy orders, but I think it's retail investors buying in at the top. So we're just gonna wait on that short for that one. But Avalanche is one I'm watching. I'm not in. I don't have it in my portfolio, but over the long term, it's looking okay. Just I'm not sure. I'm not just sure yet. I'm not sure yet. But we had an all-time high of 146.22 and an all-time low of 279. And that was pretty much at the launch. It hasn't really hit that all-time low yet. It's still almost 5 times what it was at its all-time low. Give me 1 second. All right, guys. Trying to catch it up there. I'm gonna have to watch it more. I might make I might put an investment into Avalanche when we get closer towards the bull run for it. Shout out to Rod. Welcome back in. Glad to have you in here. What do you know about Mon Man? I'm unfortunately I don't know anything about your. I'm up 110%. Yeah, there's a lot of cryptos that I don't know, but I'll have to research that one. And are you green on DOT? Not really, because I've been buying DOT since it's been in the 20s. But I just been consistently. I guess I would be green overall with the staking and the dollar cost averaging, because my average has to be around like $7 now after constantly dollar cost averaging in. Although today I was thinking about buying a little bit more DOT and then bouncing out. Oh, you bought AVAX at $9. Okay, then yeah. Well, glad to have you that you're up a little bit on there, but AVAX could make it through the next bull run with a good pump, but I'd have to do a little bit more research in because I've been watching it, but I haven't been paying attention to the actual platform and the community. Shout out to Rod. Me on the way to another planet. Me too. I'm $7 on DOT. Shout out to LJ. Pay to content creators is higher. Yeah, that's true too. So I did read about that. Shout out to Callie. Welcome in here. Glad to have you in here. Yeah, we're almost there, but we still got a ways to go. But while it's in the under $5, DOT is still a good buy. Definitely. I mean, they're doing a lot of work. They had their last convention did really well, so I'm thinking DOT's going to be a good stage for a comeback. I'm looking for DOT to be like over $100 in the next bull run. I was kind of answering that for you, Rod. What's your plan on DOT? I'm holding it, and I won't be destaking it until probably this time next year. Shout out to Callie. Good morning to you too. One of our great moderators. Glad to have you back in here. Hope you're having a great morning, chasing that bag at work. I know you got a very busy family, man, but we appreciate you any time that you're joining in. Let's go to DOT because DOT's still relatively popular, and it still has a lot of momentum. I think they're aiming to get over 1 million validators, so to speed up the network. But yeah, let's hear. I got in really. Yeah, I got in like right around here. Is when I got in about between $20 and $30. So I'm very long on DOT. It hasn't broken past its initial coin offering, so that's good. But right now at 420, it's like I could see myself putting in another huge order of DOT, like dollar cost averaging in DOT. I might do that. Right now, DOT's at 13% of my portfolio, but I plan on probably increasing that up to about 15%. But my staking rewards is giving me a hell of amount of DOT every week, so I'm probably not going to be destaking it anytime soon. And we might see about 110, 120 valuation on dot, uh, or price on dot when we get into the peak of the next bull run. I know Cody has better thoughts on dot. I don't know if he's stepped away for a moment or still there. I guess he stepped away for just a second there. But he can give his thoughts about dot. I know he's been holding dot longer than I have, and he's the one that got me into it. But you can definitely watch their YouTube channel and check out their channel, the channel for you on there. I'm gonna have to. Oh, there you go. He bumped out. Let's see here. I know he's trying to call in, but I can't take. Shout out to Rod. Rod, I took more dot at 365 a few weeks ago. No brainer. Yeah, I did too, but I'm still probably going to dollar cost average in, as no matter what price under $5, I'm going to be racking up the dollar cost averaging. I don't think I have Cody.
Can you
Oh,
hear me?
I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear
now.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Can you
now.
hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
This thing has been pissing me off because I've been trying to talk for the past 10 minutes.
Oh my
I've
goodness.
literally been trying to talk for the past 10 minutes.
Okay, well,
Yeah, for the past 10 minutes, I've been trying to talk.
oh my goodness. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody. Well, as you guys know, we do it live, and I couldn't take your call
Oh, it's
because I'm
good.
live on dot on TikTok on my phone. So,
I was calling about the stream because every time I kept joining back in, nobody could hear me.
oh really? Well, I
But
can hear you
yeah,
now.
Polka Dot's a good one. It's one of my favorite ones. I agree with the $100 mark. But for me, if you're buying this low, in my opinion, there's no sense to hold to $100. It's like if you're buying this low, just hold it to like all time high, and you'd get a good profit. You'd get like a 10x.
Yeah, and that would still be very phenomenal. Shout out to Crypto Caddy. Welcome back in. Glad to have you in here. One of our great supporters. Reaching out to Cody, saying hi, Cody. Shout out
Hello.
to Watkins. Well talk, Cody. So Cody's back in. We got the mics, his mic all set up. So we're do apologize for that. Hopefully, we can sort this thing out. But as you can see, we do it live. So there's nothing staged about our stuff. But yeah, I'm just holding dot to 100. I can afford to stay till 100. Because my dollar cost average, even at my highest, it would still be like a 2.5x that I've been investing. But I've just been steadily over 2 years, dollar cost averaging in, building up my bag, and then the staking has alone added a ton in. So I'm probably not going to. I'm trying not to de-stake my dot till as late as I possibly can. But just keep in mind, if you have dot and it is staked, it's going to take about 30 days for it to unstake. Shout out to Rod there. I'm selling dot at $40. Yeah, that's if you bought in at under $4, $40 is a good target to buy to sell at. You
I'm
definitely,
waiting until all time high.
yeah. I think the all time high was what
55. 55.
$55. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to beat past all time high, but it's just one of those things. It's probably going to be a late starter in the bull run when it does start to ramp up.
Yeah.
It's not on the radar of a lot of retail investors. And shout out to Crypto Caddy. Good morning to you too. Glad to have you in here. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. I'm going to talk a little bit more today than just about crypto, as real estate is one of the things I probably should keep talking to you guys about, because when we get into the the worser parts of this recession and the economy, real estate scams are going to become very prevalent, because real estate still is the best way to grow wealth, but it's also the easiest place to scam a lot of people in. And so we're going to talk a little bit about real estate at the end and some of my pitfalls because I'm finally actually getting a duplex property. It just freaking sucks that it's taking, I put like 80 bids in and I've lost every single one. So it's rather frustrating, and I'm getting beat out by funds that have a lot more cash than me. I just don't have the cash or the liquidity to do it. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's go back to Chainlink because Chainlink is definitely something we should be keep on everyone's mindset here because it's going to be a powerhouse when this comes around. And I think what the all time high was 52.88, and I definitely see it hitting 120. Now I got into Chainlink during the summer when it was kind of down in the dumps, like right around here. I got in summer, like 'cause I remember it was like between $6 and $8 that I was buying at, and I bought a lot more when it was down here. And then we spiked up, and that dollar cost average in the
Bro,
low.
y'all need to push.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
Sorry, I'm meaning to talk to the game.
Oh, well, Cody, what are some of your thoughts on Chainlink?
Chainlink was one of the first ones I got into. Chainlink and XRP were actually the first two I got into in 2021. Fun fact, I remember making a video on Chainlink way back in 2021.
Yeah, it's definitely a diamond in the rough, in my opinion. It's just been it's been very well hidden, but if you go on to guys, you can go check out at Chainlink. That's their tag on YouTube, and they've been pumping out videos like crazy. Shout out to Crypto Caddy. Link is going to be massive. My average buy is 650. Oh, you gonna make some money off of that. Shout out to RM Devobe. I hope I got that name right. What about Saitama? There's a Saitama token. That's hilarious. Let me just type that one in there. Oh man. I don't think you're gonna like Devote what I have to say about the Saitama token because it looks like I don't know. We're gonna have to do a lot of research on it.
It looks
Um,
like it doesn't have much liquidity.
no. Oh my goodness, 100 billion tokens. Market cap 120 billion. Trade volume. Oh, 52 million. Trade volume 546. Well, there's people actively trading it, but let's see what it's about. Saitama is a ERC20 token that can be purchased through decentralized exchanges. Blah blah blah. Started as a company project. What is it? Enhanced security with multi-sig wallets and ownership of the liquidity pool. Fit to face. I don't know. This just sounds like a pump and dump, but I'll have to really do a deep dive in there for you, the Vogue, and then you know what? That's probably gonna be the next video because I was looking for a token to do the next Monday crypto pick, so I might do a deep dive on this one. But I think it's done. But shout out to Devope. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that, and really appreciate you joining in and reaching out to us. Um, Shout out to Callie. Chainlink is still a good project in my opinion. Don't have a lot in my bag, but working on it. Yeah, and these prices, it's still easy. Although I'm waiting for a pullback on it, get back down to the 7 range, and I'll probably buy a huge chunk and start really dollar cost averaging in. Um, Shout out to Callie again. I'm hoping BTC keeps pumping so I can take profits to buy other coins. Uh, I'm kind of hoping it breaks the 35K mark, and I'm going to take a little bit profit. But if it keeps going down, then I'm going to dollar cost average on Bitcoin. Um, Shout out to Devobe. You're welcome, buddy. Glad that you had you in here. Keep asking your questions. It's always good to ask as many people as possible and have their mind have a different viewpoint on things. Shout out to I'm just gonna call you Step Customs, but shout out to you. Are you into XRP? Yes, XRP was actually one of the first cryptos I ever bought, and I've been maintaining it into. I've been maintaining steady acquisition of it, although I haven't purchased a lot of it recently. But let's take a look at. I got to open up my portfolio on that one, so let me open up my portfolio here. I am. Yeah, it's about 22% of my bag of my crypto portfolio. And as of yesterday's reading, although I'm probably down a little bit, but I'm at 1.5 million for crypto total with everything I'm holding. But I've been adding a lot to it, but I've been also going down. As you guys know, if you went back a couple weeks, I was under a million, so I lost quite a bit of value. But the market's definitely going going to be going in the right direction for dollar cost averaging. Um, and I can see my Ethereum and Quant's actually doing well because it's just going to keep going higher. Uh, let's see here. Shout out to Paul Dyke. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate your support. And shout out to Cali. BGC rally might have peaked. Um, yeah, it's looking like it peaked, but we'll have to see another hour. I actually haven't looked at the trading volume of Bitcoin, so but I think it's still up. And shout out to Crypto Dream. Cody, I need to sub to all your stuff, even if you don't post on it. Cody can send you his.
I have Telegram, but that's it. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. I don't have YouTube. I just only have Telegram. I don't like social media like that.
There's your answers to that. But Step Customs, I will be dollar cost averaging back into XRP if it dips under 40 cents again. And I do apologize, guys. I'm just trying to catch up on everybody. I shout to Rod, market dipping a bit. Let's see where it bounces back. Shout out to Step Customs. Do you think Quant is a better long-term investment than BTC? They're both good investments long-term, but you'll make more return on investment on Quant just because Quant's lower. But I think if you go out 20 years, Quant's going to overtake Bitcoin eventually, but not right away. But if you think about the next 5 years, you're probably only going to get like a 2x return on Bitcoin, maybe a 2.5 versus Quant going from 106 to 2,000. So, and we're anticipating between 2 and 3,000 for Quant. I think that's a fair mark for Quant in the next bull run. And at that point, I'll be definitely taking my profits on that. I hope that answers your question. But Quant is a good project as well. Definitely should be in everyone's portfolio. That's just my opinion. But we're actually going to do a live tomorrow with Crypto Dream at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So we're going to go over Quant and go over some of the details of it. Shout out to Libin Mohammed. I hope I got that, or Lamo Hamid. Let me know if I got that name right. I want to make sure I get everyone's name right. Do you take stock? Do you take stock to flow ratio into account when you're looking for investments? For stocks, no. All I look at for investments is the business making a profit? Has it made a profit for the last 5 years? How's the leadership of the business? How's the middle executive management of the business? And where do I see it going? And that's, and then do I think it's undervalued by the market? So in that case, that's what I use. I don't really try to watch charts or anything because I buy stocks to hold them for no less than a decade. Like every stock I've had, I've held for at least 10 years. So like, and Microsoft, I'm divesting out of. I'm thinking about divesting out of it because I've held it for almost 13 or 14 years, and it has paid its dividends. I've made a lot of money off of it. It might be time to exit out of it. Shout out to Shinobi. Glad to have you in here. Um, Shout out to Rod. Uh, I'll sell quant if past 1K impossible to keep holding. Hey, if that's your sell point, it's still a lot of money. That's a nice 10x, but I'm holding quant for the long term and the supply is very limited. Oops. Let me bring you back in here, Cody. But I'm not going to be dropping all of my quant, even if I take profits, because I have a feeling we're not like just like Bitcoin will have scarcity, quant will have the same scarcity. Shout out to Mohammed, not just stocks, but crypto. I do look at the charts for crypto to see because it's more volatile asset. And I'm thinking that you need more information than just what the projects are doing. But it does help to see if the company behind the crypto is making money as well. Shout out to Rod. How long? 2029. If we're talking about 6 years from now, quant still won't overtake Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will still be higher, but quant in 2009, I could see it holding 1,000 per coin by then.
Quant, I saw Coin Bureau did a review on Quant, and he said, his problems with Quant is that it's closed sourced and that at first it went the interoperability route, and then it did a complete 180 and focuses more on like CBDCs and stuff. He says that the token, it could still survive and stuff, but he says he doesn't like how it's closed source and it goes for CBDCs, and those are some people's issues with Quant. But as an investment, as I still see it performing crazily, I still see it doing well.
Yeah, I still see it doing well, very well. I also don't think that quant will have. I don't think it's going to really affect the too much with CBDCs, although it is a banking token, but it is also tokenizing real world assets, which could make it a little faster for buying properties, buying things, titling things. But well, it's also wary because it is a very centralized token. Excuse me. Shout out to Mohammed. If your investments have a CEO, they will always dilute the supply when prices increase. That's a possibility too, but we also got to look at the underlying project as well, making sure that the project is actually viable and providing a good resource. I'm sorry, Cody. Were you trying to say something there?
No, I was just no. It's just the whole CEO thing. Like, yeah, that's great about Bitcoin. That's probably the best thing about Bitcoin. But at the same time, like, just because other projects have a CEO doesn't necessarily mean that the CEO is doing nefarious stuff.
Yeah, that's also true. But crypto projects tend to liquidate a little bit of their holdings of their own coins just to pay for operations, pay developers,
That's
pay
what stock
coders.
stock CEOs do.
Yeah, well, they also do that, but it's a little bit more. It's much more regulated on stocks. Like it has to be timed liquidation. They have to have a reason. They have to register it. They have to do a lot of stuff to get it to get those things to go through. But what I can say, like on the stock side, usually what they do is they'll do what's called a stock split, and they'll split everyone's stock, and then they'll do a buyback in about a year or two afterwards. So that way the value kind of comes back, but people who've been holding for a long time get rewarded because their holdings like usually it's a 5-for-1 split. So like one stock becomes five, and as long as you hold it like I did with Microsoft, you'll make a lot of money. in the long term. Shout out to Rod. I'm selling everything 2025 and start accumulation again in 2027. Well, I don't even think we're going to get a bull run until the end of 2025, early 2026. Cody thinks it's going to come a little earlier. There are a lot of similarities between now and 2019. So just
It
keep
just
that in mind.
it just doesn't make sense to me that God, I'm so tired of this.
Oh man, poor Cody's experiencing some microphone problems, but he'll be back in. Shout out to Do Your Own Research, another one of our uh, great moderators. Welcome back in. Glad to have your support. Crypto isn't regulated, is a false narrative. Yeah, it has some regulation, but there's a lot more regulation in stocks than crypto. Stocks is regulated, but crypto isn't, which is why these CEOs get greedy. Um, there is some regulation. I mean, a fraud is still a fraud. Like, doesn't matter whether crypto has a regulated agency or not. It's still a fraud. I think I'm kind of example. ETH went from proof of work to proof of stake. They went to proof of stake to ease up on energy concerns. It did help. It took some aspects. It added more in. I still think proof of stake is working out well for Ethereum. So, but you guys tell me. You guys tell me what your opinion on it is. We'll wait for Cody to get back in here. Shout out to Rod. Any of my coins get close to all time high, I'm selling. Yeah, I would definitely start my taking profits route, but there are a few. There are a few like ad share. Once it hits, once it hits a certain price, I'm cashing out everything on certain ones. But they're like Quant, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. I'll take profits, but I'll always be holding something. Shout out to Do Your Own Research and Google split, but didn't issue more voting shares. What's your point? Well, you don't have to get more voting shares necessarily, but when a stock split happens, it just makes you have more money as long as you don't. Because like if you held IBM over the 30 years, all the stock
Can you
splits.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Cody.
What I was trying to say something. I really am getting tired of this streaming software we use because it kicks me out every day we stream. But it's like, um,
Crazy.
it doesn't make sense to me that a bull run starts 2 years after the halving. Like the reason why I always say 2025 is because I mean prehistorically, yeah, that's always been a year after the halving. But 2 years after the halving to get a bull run, that's just too long of a time, in my opinion. Like a bull run a year after the halving is the most sensible scenario in my opinion.
All right, I guess we'll wait for Cody to get back in there. I think that might be the problem. Okay, I guess he's experiencing some difficulties there again. Man, all right. Well, got to get Cody a mic for his. Um, when Google split, the founders didn't want to dilute their majority control of governance. That's true, but like I was saying with IBM, like if you held IBM for 30 years, whether you had voting control or not, that's not the point. I mean, you're never going to have voting control as much as you think. Even if you owned 2,000 shares of IBM, you'd have to own something like 400,000 shares, but you would make money over the long term. All right, welcome back, Cody.
Were you able to hear me at all?
I heard you right up until I heard someone in the background, and that's when it cut off.
N- And then I unmuted it and I tried to talk again and nobody heard me.
Yeah, that's when you went silent.
No, I mean like after I went silent, I unmuted it. I tried to talk and nobody heard
Oh,
me.
okay. Oh, okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
you're
I live with a family and it's chaotic. I'm sorry.
no worries. We all certainly understand. Let me just get through some of these comments here, buddy, and then we can get back. Shout out to Rod. 2021, I didn't sell. I'm not watching the same movie again. Absolutely. Shout out to Mohammed. When there was ever a bull run 2 years after the halving, when has there ever been a bull run 2 years after the halving?
Never.
Yeah, it never has happened. Shout out to Cali. I would also keep some percent of Bitcoin, maybe 20%. That's probably about what I'm keeping, or I'm keeping a certain level of value, and I'm going to maintain that value. But also, I didn't mean to miss this comment. Mohammed would likely suggest you guys never sell your Bitcoin. Thank me later. Oh, eventually you got to sell it to take profit. That's just how it is. And I recommend taking profits as you go and then dollar cost averaging in. But and shout out to Crypto Dreams. I hate proof of stake, and Bitcoin's energy usage has made it necessary for miners to find innovative ways to obtain energy and green energy. Like 60% of Bitcoin energy usage is green. That's also true. When companies struggle to earn, they also come up with very innovative ways to preserve their profits, which could also mean bettering the overall environment and society. Shout out to Mohammed. Uh, Not if you take a loan against your Bitcoin, never have to sell. Well, that's true too, but just remember a loan can also liquidate you out. I don't like taking loans because at the end of the day, especially if you're in the US, a loan can be called at any point. Doesn't matter what the terms are, they can call your loan at any given point. But just keep that in mind. I'm more of a buy, hold, and sell kind of guy. So I like to buy it, hold it until I get the value I want, and then I sell it. So, Cody, are you still there?
Yeah. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yep, I can hear. I just wanted to make sure. All right, but chime in on your thoughts on I guess your exit strategy during the next bull run because that seems to be what we're talking about here.
My exit strategy during the next bull run is as long as I make a 10x. I'm here for a 10x. Like for Ethereum, it's like anything under $10,000, it's not worth the risk. Like if you're selling ETH under $10,000, it's not worth the risk, in my opinion. It's either 10K or bust for ETH. It's there's no because it's at like 17, $1,800 right now. If you're buying $1,800 per coin and you're only selling it at all time high or 7,000, that's not worth the risk, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Because
that's
crypto
mhm.
itself is a risk. It's not worth it if you're selling it under $10,000. It's just not.
Yeah, that's my opinion too. Although I do think Ethereum can go a lot higher than 10K in the bull run because I think the popularity of Ethereum with retail investors and with everyone trying to get a spot ETF on it, it's just going to be crazy. Shout out to Mohammed. Take a loan to buy an asset that cash flows. Well,
I don't want to take any loans.
like
I don't like messing with loan sharks. I don't like messing with the bank. My credit score is good, and I just think taking loans out for investments, in my opinion, is a dangerous game. It's like messing with what do you call it? Options trading and all that. It's just not a good idea. But
well,
people will be people anyway.
Mohammed, even though this was probably the hardest path for me, but it's turning out to work out well, is to start a business, build the business, and let the business cash flow, then use the cash flow to get into real estate, and then my profits of real estate go into crypto and stocks, really mostly stocks, and then stocks, the dividends from those stocks go into crypto. So I don't use crypto as a leveraging tool. I would never recommend, well, I never recommend using assets as a leveraging tool. And if you do want to, I would never do more than 10% because even right now, like 10%, like when I had a 10% loan on my business, it was very stressful because we had to sell, we had to push even harder to keep the business, to maintain the margins. and I don't want everyone to be back in that position again. So I like being comfortable knowing that there's nothing out here, like no one's going to be bothering me. I don't have to worry about making those payments. I mean, right now I have about 33% of my real estate holdings mortgage. So the value of my real estate holdings and the value of my mortgage hasn't exceeded 33%, which is where it's going to stay as a business, because if you can't make a profit, I can't reserve money for problems, especially since I have property in Tornado Alley. So God forbid a tornado comes down, blows the roof off a project. I can't sit here and say, well, I'm screwed. Like I have to plan. And my planning is enabling the people that are my tenants, which are my customers, to be able to secure their housing, because I can't tell them, hey, sorry, I just don't have a reserve, so you're shit out of luck with your home. No, that's the landlord's part. My job is having a reserve to protect the asset so that way they don't suffer too much. Otherwise, I'm a piss poor landlord.
Crypto Dream. Shout out to Crypto Dream. He said, I remember back in the day, a guy posted about taking a 20K loan to buy Shiba. Doubt that worked out. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
yeah, look at the price of Shiba now and look at the price of Shiba around the time when he took that loan, and you'll see.
Yep, and he definitely got liquidated out. Let me catch up on some of these comments here. Shout out to Rod. My ETH plan is 8,800 and gone. As long as it's your plan and you stick to your plan, you will always have your financial success. Shout out to El Ginti. ETH has the largest blockchain. It's going to do more than 10K. My thoughts exactly. Shout out to do your own research. When you are paid in stock that can't be sold, that's what you have to do. Some people are cash poor. Yeah, I can agree to that. I'm pretty much cash poor almost all the time, but I just don't like to leverage out my like those type of assets because they can get liquidated very easily. Um, but I do have a nice real estate holding, so that's what helps me stay. That's what helps kind of keep my cash flow, and they're all businesses, so they're paying me a salary as well. Shout out to Rod Legenti. I can't just go straight up. I'll buy back again when it dips to 1K or whatever it dips to. Okay, yeah, that's true. As long as you have your strategy and you're sticking to it, that's the point. But definitely glad. I think we're finally caught up on all your guys' comments here. So really appreciate all the support there, and just always keep them coming. It's funny because we were talking about that. Crypto Dream and I were talking about that yesterday in DMs, saying like it's great that we shout all you guys out, but at the same time, it's going to get ridiculously hard as we get more as the channel keeps growing. But I'm going to endeavor always doing it because I mean the whole point of this is to have fun with you guys, the audience. So definitely got to always support you guys and shout you guys out. Hopefully, we keep giving content that you guys love. And I know, and hopefully, you guys, can continue to laugh at my losses because I'm taking. It seems like for a while there, I'm catching L's as much as the Giants. Oh boy, I'm about to shed a tear for the Giants. Man, I got freaking allergies today. Oh, freaking dry ass air out here in Arkansas. Shout out to Rod. Just got to my gym going live. Hey, definitely get those workout gains. Shout out to do your own research. Make it donate to create comment privilege. Super chat on YouTube. Well, hopefully we're trying to just get up there. What I would like to do is be able to use some of the funds that we get to do a group a channel portfolio, and if it makes money during the bull run, we sell it and we donate it to a charity of your guys' choice, and so we can kind of keep that there. Shout out to Alec, Louisiana. Glad to have you in here. Welcome in. Thanks for joining, and thank you so much for your support. Thoughts on BlackRock and big boys potentially artificially crashing the market after 2025 and 26? Well, I don't think. I think by then it would be too many retail investors for you to really crash the market effectively, because right now the whales have all the power, most of the power. So when they sell, the market crashes. But I think after this bull run, the crypto market will start behaving more like the stock market, where there's going to be too many people involved. So if you're selling, someone else is buying, and you're not creating that much of a loss. But that's my opinion. I don't think there'll be a crash in 2025, 2026. I think we'll have a huge turnaround, because I think that's when we're going to be coming out of the bottom of the recession, and things are going to start getting back to normal. A shout out to Do Your Own Research. You can create a custom index on Bybit, and people can buy that. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you can do that on Bybit. That's definitely interesting. We might have to look into it. But yeah, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Do Your Own Research. And shout out to him. Don't know if he has his own channel, but he is one of our moderators, and definitely follow our moderators. Give them some support and love too. But let's go back over. I'm gonna favorite Saitama, because I'm gonna do a video on that one for the Vogue, and that will be launching on Monday. But if you want to catch it early, all you gotta do is join the Patreon, and you get access also to the Discord and the Patreon exclusive content. First one is kind of dropping today, of a live that will only be on Patreon. So definitely want to join in on that one. Alrighty, let me go back over here, just kind of checking some things. Yeah, speaking of that dip, like you said, it was 8 months ago. For Sheeb, let's just take a look at that. Oh my goodness, yeah, he suffered a loss on that one. Almost 28% down. Shout out to Alec, Louisiana. Thoughts on Binance being insolvent and the impact it'll have on BTC price, but rather the alt market. Well, Binance kind of went the same route. Well, they did exactly the same thing as FTX. They taught SBF to do everything just how they did it. There are some red flags in Binance. Man, these allergies. There's some red flags on Binance. With because their employees are getting paid in it, but they obviously don't want the Binance token, and they're selling it almost immediately. There's been rumors of artificial price manipulation on Binance's token, and there's rumors that CZ is doing the same thing that SPF is doing. So we'll have to see. But he is one of the biggest, and the US platform is actually making money for them. But at the same time, they're very cheap on the trades, and that worries me. But if they do go insolvent and crash, it will do the same effect it had last year. It will pretty much bottom out the crypto market, but we'll have some great prices, the dollar cost average in. And now leave room for Coinbase, Crypto.com, Uphold, and some of the other good exchanges out there and probably Gemini to take over. And it also might lead to regulation on the exchanges and merging everything into one and making everyone else a broker instead of an exchange. Shout out to Cali. They will manipulate the market before getting their ETFs sooner rather than later. Yeah, there's gonna be some market manipulation. Shout out to El Genti. People jump in not knowing any better. I think Meek Mill did the same thing with Doge, put 10 or 20K at the top. Yeah, one, don't trust celebrities. Celebrities don't know jack about markets or finance. It's funny how they're the most trustworthy by public opinion, but they're the least knowledgeable when it comes to experts. And even a lot of financial experts, 90% of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. Shout out to Big Jerome. Gemini Earn program failed. Yeah, that was a failure. they tried to do it. Oh, you can earn 20%, but we're going to give out 0% interest loans. Yeah, it was destined to fail. It was destined to fail. There's no way that could keep going. Like, you'd have to give out like 2% interest and be loaning out at 20% to make any money after that. Shout out to Big Jerome. Gemini lost credibility after that. Yeah, I don't use Gemini anymore. I used to 2 years ago, but I don't use it anymore. And I don't think they'll be around, but at the same time, they're probably going to keep making it because the Winklevoss twins can generate a lot of VC capital and they can keep that company going. And their ego will try to keep that Gemini alive. That's just my opinion. I don't think it. If Binance collapses, Gemini has a chance. If it doesn't, Gemini's probably going to be gone in a couple of years.
If
Because I'm not.
Binance doesn't collapse,
If Binance doesn't collapse, Gemini will be gone in a couple of years. If Binance does collapse, Gemini has a chance to survive.
that makes a lot of sense.
Because I think Binance has too much of a market control. But if they leave, all those people are just going to gravitate to other platforms. Shout out to Big Jerome. What do you think of stocks like TLRY and its industry? Let's pull that one up. So Tilray Brands, it's definitely a cheap stock. Let's take a look at the earnings.
Tilray?
Uh,
I've heard of
flat.
Tilray.
They're pretty flat. What do they do? Brands, cannabis, lifestyle. No. I think personally the cannabis run is over. There was a lot of
It's
hype
over.
around it. Yeah, there's a lot of hype around it. People wanted it to be.
Most people have their medical marijuana cards, and a lot of people, the hype is over. The hype was there from 2016 and 2017. That's when the
That
hype
was
of,
the peak. That was the peak there.
yep.
No, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But I just want to let everyone know that was the peak. But go on, Cody.
Oh yeah, the peak of the cannabis stocks and all that was 2016, 2017. A lot of people back then you could throw like $10,000 into a cannabis stock and grow up to 100,000. It's like nowadays it's not really the same. You may get like a 5% gain on some reputable dispensaries, but you're not going to make money investing in cannabis. You're just not.
And this is a legitimate company, but if you're looking at the 5-year chart, I mean, look at it. The value went from it's lost 98.75% of its total value in the last 5
How
years.
cannabis stocks are now will be how AI stocks are in the next 3 to 4 years.
Yep, that's a very accurate statement there. I have to agree with Cody. If you had invested in cannabis industry when it was starting in like I think it was like
2012.
2009, 2010 was when it was starting, you would have made a lot of money. But right now, it's just it's like a meh industry. And what's also happening is that what are they called? Zillennials or Gen Zers?
Millennials,
No,
Gen
the
Z,
next was it Gen Alpha? The ones that they're not voting yet. Like,
Gen Alpha, is the youngest.
yes, they're not going to be involved in cannabis because, and I have to say, I've heard everyone's argument about it being, about it has to be legal, it doesn't cause much, but I've seen more negative effects of cannabis in people's lives than positive.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I have my medical card. I smoke cannabis, but for me, it's like I only do it when I come home. I don't do it all day. I don't feel like it makes me lazy. Like after a long day of work, if I have trouble sleeping, especially since I was prescribed it, it helps me. It helps me sleep, and it helps me be able to like help with creativity and stuff. But the people who smoke it all day,
Mhm.
those are the ones who are comfortable with being lazy. I just feel like everything in moderation is fine, and weed doesn't hurt if you're not doing it all day and you're abusing it. That's just my opinion.
Well, that's true too. It was here's the thing though, is that everybody is different and you have to find out what your addictive tendencies are, and you really have to know yourself. But any drug, alcohol, narcotics, or even cannabis, it's only going to enhance the traits you already have. So if you already have an innate ability to be lazy, then it's just going to enhance that. If you're a
See, I've
quiet
never felt
person,
that way when I've smoked. Usually, when I've smoked, I feel like I can type a paper or like I can work on a project. I've never actually felt lazy, like a couch potato when I smoke weed. Like it's always different for everybody. Like for some people,
well,
they can smoke and they
mhm.
just don't want to do anything, and they're okay with being poor and oh, this is my life. I smoke because it helps me feel okay with my situation. That's literally why some people smoke.
Well, that's also a good example too, because any drug can be an escape mechanism. Alcohol, that's why narcotics are used heavily in the poor communities, because it's an escape mechanism and it helps take
It
pull your
helps
brain
people
away from
escape.
reality. Yeah, but it in it, weed or cannabis, uh alcohol, drugs, they're just going to enhance your things. Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm more talkative when I'm drunk and things like that, but they're not.
That's stupid.
Because like if you're quiet sober, you're going to be even more quiet when you're drunk. If you're outgoing when you're sober, then you're going to be the life of the party. When you're drunk, you're just going to be the most outgoing you ever been. That's just how it only exemplifies it. And the same thing with money. If you are a genuinely nice person, it's going to enhance those traits. If you're generally an evil person, it's going to enhance those traits. It's not something that's going to, like, you're not going to change. Money doesn't change people. It just enhances the traits that you don't see. So there are some people like Keanu Reeves. Shout out to him. He's probably the nicest celebrity and has a ton of money, hasn't changed his personality, who he is, or anything. And then there's people like, what's a good example? Oh, the good example is that YouTuber Mr. Organic. Money made him a straight up asshole, but he already was an asshole. It just ex- it just exponentially enhanced that part of him. If you watch some of his lives, like people have been recording him and calling him out over the last 3 years, but if you watch the lives other people recorded of him, he was a
Richard
straight
Hart.
asshole.
Richard Hart's another example.
That's an example
Look at
too.
what
Yeah,
money did to Richard Hart.
yeah, it completely changed.
Look
Completely
at his
changed.
photos and look at how he talks in interviews. Look at how he dresses and how he poses. And the way he talks to people. It's just insane how people can support somebody like that. It blows my mind.
Absolutely. Shout out to Cali. Everyone have an amazing day. Let's build those bags, make money, and secure your futures. Absolutely. You too, buddy. Keep chasing that bag. Have a wonderful day. Wish you the best. And thanks for supporting and joining the live. Really appreciate that. And we hope to see you again tomorrow for you.
Crypto Dream asks, is burning your own token considered manipulation?
If you have enough, yeah, it's technically is manipulation, but you have to have a certain amount of volume to be able to really manipulate the market. But that's what a lot of people have been doing. Shout out to user 215051. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate you in here. Hope you can like and share the live. And if you guys want to come on, hit the guest icon on the bottom left on TikTok, and I'm going to add this in the chat on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. If you guys want to cam up and join live and share your opinions on where we're headed with the crypto industry, stocks, our business world. Um, so we'll definitely appreciate all that for you. And if you guys could go to YouTube and give us a subscribe if you can. We definitely really appreciate that. I know, and when you're telling the truth about finance, it's boring, and we don't get posted on a lot of people's feeds. So liking and subscribing and sharing us really helps. Really helps us grow the channel, and we really appreciate you guys coming in. Um, I do want to say this though. We are going to start to see some good numbers come out from the CPI data and unemployment data because it's a couple months behind, and that's going to give us another like relief rally in the market. So I think we should also want to be prepared for that because one, people want good news going into the holidays. People want to hear that everything's okay. People don't want to go through hardship during the holidays. They want to be comfortable, and I think that's going to definitely definitely push us forward. Going to definitely push us forward on that on the market there. If not, we'll drop after the holidays. If so, if it doesn't, then we might drop closer towards like early January, like after New Year's. But overall, I'm telling you, we're going to have some good numbers being reported, and then that's going to push the markets up a little bit. I'm telling you, CPI is probably going to come in at about like 3%. I have a feeling. Inflation is only going to have increased 3% overall. But it's also hard because California has put so many restrictions on. So pecans and avocados are going to start going up in price. I can almost guarantee that. Let me just go back over here and see. Okay. Other than that, I don't really have too much to talk about. We'll kind of leave up to you guys. You guys want to keep asking questions? We'll get through this live. Coming up on an hour and a half, and I do have to get going in a little bit to start running my business. I do see some degenerate comments were blocked, so guys, keep it in mind. Rated G, family friendly, especially on TikTok. The moderators will block you, and the system will block you too. I know this election year is going to be crazy because this is probably going to be one of the most divisive years in electric. South Crypto Dream. Oh, my lunch is in 20 minutes. Well, I'm sorry we're going to be cutting off during your lunch. But this election year is going to be crazy, and and if this election year might determine how deep the regulations in crypto go. Shout out to
Yep.
Big Jerome. Do you think Sleepy Joe will start talking about crypto? No, but I think people will start calling him out on where the hell is the student loan relief coming, because that's what won him his presidency. And if he doesn't deliver, he's out. I'm telling you, he's not going to get reelected. Just like when Bush Sr. said no more tax cuts, or sorry, no more new taxes. And then 2 years in the office, he's like, new taxes. He got voted out instantly. So, but I don't think he'll talk about crypto unless if there's another big scam. Then they'll focus on crypto.
I just
Like
find
if
it genius how Satoshi Nakamoto pretty much made Bitcoin halving land on that election year. Every Bitcoin halving.
Yeah, that is pretty suspicious. That's pretty suspicious. I'm here's my thoughts on the election. Crypto Dream. I don't think Biden's going to win. I also
No.
don't think Trump is going to be elected. I don't think Trump is going to be running, or I think somehow he's going to be blocked or barred or whatever, but he's not going to be running. That's just my thoughts in general about it. I don't know. What do you guys think about the election? You guys can certainly chime in,
It's
but
gonna be pretty degenerate, in my opinion. Like I thought last election was degenerate, but I think this one's gonna be even more degenerate.
yeah, I definitely think it's going to be divisive. It's going to be like a chopping block. But I also think this is going to be the start where we're going to break away from the two party system and break away from the two party system, and we'll have four parties. We'll have the Republicans, we'll have Libertarians, we'll have Democrats, and then we'll have an extreme far left party. But if anything, I think the Libertarians are going to make it in the long term
Oh,
because
me too. Me
the more
too.
centralized you are, the more likely you're going to win the election. Um,
You know, a lot of people make fun of people in the middle. They call them central something. I forgot. There's a name for it.
yeah, I haven't heard
Centrism.
of it.
Centrism.
But being central is like a lot of the values on both sides. There are a lot that overlap and are common sense, but it's the extreme positions on each side that push people away. Shout out to DeVoe. I hope he's not. Are you referring to Trump or are you referring to Biden? Shout out to
Most
Big
likely
Jerome.
Biden.
Uh, Shout out to Big Jerome. Vivek looks like the best puppet. I think RFK Jr. is going to probably do it. Shout out to Steve Eath, RFK Jr. 2024. If Trump is part of the election, it will be divisive. The Dems will have their boogeyman. Yeah, if Trump's involved, the Democrats will be full force. But if there's anyone else, it's the Democrats aren't going to go, but it's still going to be divisive. Shout out to Do Your Own Research. Uh, moderate, moderate, Moderates decide elections. They vote differently each time. That's also true. And
Crypto
DeVoe,
Dream said, I kind of roll with a guy who makes videos and he firmly believes Bitcoin was made by the CIA to help prop the banking system. He has points, but who knows? And he also said, I don't think RFK has a chance, but he is interesting.
I think RFK resonates with a lot of people. And DeVoe was referring to Trump. I guess you're referring to my comment that Trump will be taken out of the election. I have a
Why
feeling he
the
will.
hell is he not mentioning Biden? Why is he only saying Trump? Like Biden, ever since Biden has gotten into office, everything has just went left. Like, why are you
No, no, no,
like you
no.
can
I'm
believe in what you
saying
want to believe, but why Biden over Trump? Like, I don't get these people.
no, no. That's not what he was saying. I think he's saying
Oh,
Trump over Biden, but I said that I don't. I think they're going to try and block Trump from being a part of the election, and I think they might succeed in pulling him out of the election. That's that is just my opinion. It has
yeah.
nothing to do with politics.
I'm not a
I
Trump
well,
supporter, but somebody that would take Biden over Trump, it's like you have to be stupid. Like, I'm gonna put that out there. If you take Biden over Trump, you just have to be stupid.
um, shout out to Big Jerome. Imagine Trump wins while in jail. If no Trump, it'll probably be boring and less people will vote than ever. No more 80 million. That's also possible. The vote Trump is racist. I don't think he's racist. He's been known to have black women on the side. So, like, I'm from the New Jersey area, so
Trump likes black women.
he's been sleeping with a lot of black women over his years.
So
Like,
you can't call. I'm so tired of people calling Trump racist. Like, come on now, that was so 2016.
yeah, it's like it's no he in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, he was known to hang around a lot of Italian mafia members and kind of moved in the same circles.
And then when you
And so
start
I'm
talking
sure.
about
Uh, Hold on, Cody. I'm sure his taste developed the same because Italian men, we may marry a white Italian woman, but we're going to have a black woman on the side. That's just how it is. Or they marry the black woman. It's just I don't know what it is. Every Italian guy has slept with at least one a black woman in their life. That's just how it is.
and the people And if I say stuff like Trump ain't racist, pretty much like he's had black women on the side, people will be like, "Oh, so you like Trump? Like, oh, so you're a supporter?" It's like, no, it doesn't mean I'm a supporter. It's just, it's not facts. I like factual information, and calling Trump a racist is not a factual piece of information. It's not factual.
Yeah, well, so DeVoe, could you give us some examples as to why you think Trump is racist?
Please.
Shout out to Legenti. My mom's dad is Italian. Yep, and I bet you he either dated or had slept with at least one black woman. It always is. My dad's Italian, and he married my mom, who is black. Shout out to El Genti. Trump brought out the racist in people. That is true. That is
That is true,
he
but
brought.
those are the hardcore supporters.
Yeah, those are like they're really like 10% of his audience or his supporters, but they are the loudest of his supporters, which
You
is
can say
why
his
I say that.
supporters, you can say a lot of his supporters are racist, but to call Donald Trump himself a racist, that's a stretch.
Yeah, I don't think. Shout out to Crypto Dream. I hated defending Trump, but all the misinformation. Yeah, there was a lot of misinformation about him. It's like I don't mind if you hate or like a political candidate, but the truth is the truth. Let's talk about what the truth is. Um, and shout out to the Ginty, and Trump took advantage of it. Oh yeah, he is a businessman and he is a show has some showmanship, so he knows how to take advantage of a crowd. Well, Trump brought it all out. We're all entitled to our own opinions. Oh, definitely, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and he definitely did pull it out of people. I mean, when 2016 happened and he was going to that president, I can tell you, I was in Florida at the time, and the South was like, I mean, if racism was coming back, it was coming back strong because people were talking of all types of things and everything. And I had to remind them, it's like, no. And like, I remember we're at a furniture store, and I said, watch this black person, like, because there's like a young white couple. They had no money. We put them through the system. I'm like, watch, they're going to get approved for probably about 5,500, and they got approved for $5,500 for a store card to buy furniture. And he's like, well, that was just luck. And this black woman came in. I said, I bet you she's not going to get approved for maybe $1,600. And he put all the information in. She made 5 times what that couple made together. And she only got approved for $1,600. Class C credit. I was like, but her credit score was 820, and she only had her mortgage. So I was like, that's really weird. Why was that? And I told him, I've been in the banking industry. A lot of bankers refer to black people as mud people. That's just how it is. It's still there, but it's not as prominent. It's kind of like when I was in Bank of America, and hey, Bank of America, if you're listening, don't even sit there and try to come after me because I know what the hell happened there. I was one of your top brokers, so I don't want to even hear shit from them or anything and I think they know because I'll come after you freaking hard. But they would redline black and Hispanics. So like there's this area in New Jersey where it's known that this is like a lower end blue collar place. So even if they made $200,000 a year, and this was back in the early 2000s, 200,000, they would never be able to get a house in the wealthy areas, even though they could afford it. They would not approve them. They'd tell them like you have to come up with like some like $120,000 in cash in like 48 hours for us to get you that home. And that's impossible. That was impossible at the time. If you're moving that type of money, it's going to take a couple of weeks, even if you had it, even if you wanted. So they're basically telling them you got to liquidate other assets so you can have this, which most people won't do. And then they put them in like this one town was called Ewing. And, that's where all the black people are. And the banks funneled them in there. So redlining does exist. It is harder for Hispanics, black, and minorities to get credit. And it's like I've seen I've seen some phenomenally well-educated, rounded people that were minorities that managed their bills very well. I mean, you got to tell you got to be good at it if you can manage like a six-person family, like four kids, your wife and yourself off of $12,000 and save 30 or $40,000 a year. I mean, these guys had. I mean, I was a banker. Like I remember this one Hispanic. Nobody wanted to really deal with him, but I talked to him because I kind of look Hispanic. And once we crossed that language barrier, and he understood I couldn't speak Spanish, and we we started. You know, his son was there helping him communicate. The guy had over $1 million in a savings account. It's like this guy qualifies for the private banking. Why are you guys not bringing it in there? But I agree with you, DeVoe, that there is a much about much it's still a lot of racism going around. It's just not as loud as it was when I was a kid. Because before when I was like in grade school, it was very well known that people didn't like black people. I mean, they were accepting black people into certain schools and elementary schools and high schools and middle schools in the higher end areas, and then into they would funnel them into special ed. But anyone who's on the Democratic side, by no means Biden is 100% a freaking racist. I mean, he even supported uh, Trump never supported Jim Crow laws. Biden supported Jim Crow laws. So let's just set that record straight. Trump never supported or said anything about those laws being okay. He never said it. He never said. Now, Biden has said it, voted for it, supported it, campaigned for it. So, yes, I'm not trusting Biden whatsoever. I'd rather deal with Trump, sit out there and make a fool of himself than to deal with Biden telling me he's not a racist when I know damn well you are. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Sickens me. Look up Judge Joe Brown's story about Biden back in the day. Yeah, exactly. But you also got to remember, we're, people can change. None of us are a scorpion in a Navajo story. Our defining ability as humans is that we can change, learn, and adapt. And hopefully it can change, but I'm still not going to trust him. Shout out to DeVoe. You might be right about that one. Do your own research. Mic drop. Definitely. Exactly. Like because I'm tired of because like I down here in the Fayetteville area, it's very very liberal in the Fayetteville area, and then I'm getting tired of hearing that Trump is a racist because I know goddamn well Trump is not. He just knows how to rile up a crowd to use it to his advantage, which he did marvelously well. I mean, he blew that election out of the water. I'm not denying that. But Biden doesn't care about black people because if he did, he'd be donating money to, yeah, exactly, to Haitians. I haven't seen an old video about what Biden said about the Haitians, but they need support. They need more support. They need water, everything. They've been experiencing disaster after disaster after disaster, natural disasters, and war and strife. Haven't been helping them. Not once. Not once said, hey, let's go over and send the Army Corps of Engineers to help rebuild their structures. Nothing about that. But we're sending goddamn money over to Ukraine, who is funneling pedos and all that other bullshit going on. It's like, no, it's like, I say we got to take the Thomas Jefferson approach. I know we're a little off topic off of this, but we got to take the Thomas Jefferson approach. Revolt, get rid of all the politicians, and just like France, off with their head. I don't mean to say, but it's like that is literally our constitutional right. Like, just get rid of them. And once people start seeing, like in that part of society, start seeing that the populace is saying, "F this, you're out," and we're gonna cut it. We're just gonna X you out of here. I mean, it's going to be brutal. They're pushing the buttons of people, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to say, mobs can be brutal, and mob justice is ultimately the worst type of justice you want because there's no trial, there's no nothing. They're just going to pull you out, bring you out into town square, and just like the kings of old, off with their head. Shout out to Leginti. He sent money to Israel, and they have free healthcare. Yeah, but Israel is just as bad as Hamas. Um, and on my mom's side, my great grandpa was of Hebrew descent, and they're it's the same thing. It's the one, the hate's got to stop. Two, you can't keep doing this eye for an eye because like Hamas did some very horrendous things, but then Israel then copied that exact same energy, and that didn't work out well. So I just wish it would do like I wish we would help the people that actually need the help. And I also get mad at liberals saying the same thing about, people are oppressed or anything. People are oppressed here. This is happening, but no one's going over to the Congo and pulling out the little kids who are mining cobalt with mercury, getting mercury poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, mining the lithium and the cobalt for you in the most inhumane ways possible so we can have this little iPhone or cell phone in our hand. No one's sitting here saying that, and you're still propping up Apple. So it's the kind of same thing when people complain about Jeff Bezos. It's like, you guys made him. He found the market, made it happening, and then and it was all, I'll just get it on Amazon. Now it's like, Jeff Bezos is evil. Well, you made him, so now you got to deal with him. You can't go and make Godzilla and then complain that Godzilla comes ashore and knocks down some buildings. That's just a monster's going to do what a monster's going to do. Don't complain when you make the monster. Shout out to El Ginti. What's going on in Congo is heartbreaking. Yeah. But there was an economist that usually is pretty spot on about everything. I think Cody had to dip because he had to go. He's getting ready for work. But no matter what era of society, and this economist had it dead on. No matter what area of society, we will always have a slave labor force. We have a slave labor force now. You just don't see it because it's out in the Congo. You don't know those people. It's out in the sweatshops in Asia. We just don't see it. So like the clothing I wore, I'm wearing, the computer I'm using, this cup that I use, all from there, which is what part of why I added junk removal to my repertoire, because there's people in a consumerism age. A lot of people just junk a lot of stuff. So like this came from a junk removal. I just cleaned it. I just washed it, cleaned it out. There's no reason to throw it in the landfill. It's a perfectly fine cup. Clean it out, use it. Let's see here. Not the desk I'm using, but the other 3 desks in this area, gonna go to the landfill. Use them. Shout out to DeVoe in our prisons as well. Yeah, our prisons are pretty rough. As soon as in the early 2000s, it was allowed to privatize prisons. That was the end. That was the start of a new form of slave labor. But I will say this: a lot of us, even in this country, are enslaved, and we're enslaved with debt. And debt can feel like a prison as well because it's just crushing you and sucking out your ability to pursue your own ambitions in life. Shout out to Crypto Dream. I hate that we fund so many sides, almost like we are just supporting other nations dying. Yeah, I'm gonna pin that comment there because that's that's a pretty spot on. Shout out to El Ginti. People don't know we need the Congo. Yeah, the Congo has a lot of rare earth, lithium, cadmium, which is all needed for EV vehicles and electronics and technology and things like that. And nobody pays attention to it. And nobody knows about it. Shout out to El Ginti. I have family members dying in debt. Yeah. You work your whole life and you still can't even get out of debt. It's terrible. And It's only going to change when the entire system goes to reset. So, and kind of on another topic, like in 2008, I was saying we should just let it collapse. If we let the system collapse, it will rebound and we'll be back better and stronger. No, what we did was we kicked the can a little further. Now, 20 years, almost 20 years, or really 15 years later, we're at the same situation. Do we let it collapse or do we kick the can a little further down the road? How much longer can we keep kicking that can? Eventually, we're going to get to a wall and we can't kick the can any further and the party's going to stop. And unfortunately, that's just how it's going to, it's just how it's going to be. I really wish that the system would just reset because there's a lot of people that made a lot of money. And I know for some reason in the US, it's like, oh, they've been very blessed by God that they made a lot of money. No, they were very lucky. I'm blessed by God that I'm able to live every day and work hard and build a business that can then provide value for other people. But at the same time, like there are people who are far less aligned with God and they're making way more money than me. And they cause even more hardships. They steal, they rob, they do whatever it takes. So unfortunately, that's just the nature of the game. Shout out to El Ginty. I agree. We need to let it collapse. Yeah, the system needs to collapse and reset. And we need an age limit on politicians. Exactly. No, nothing older than 65. Because you do need to have some age and wisdom um, to be able to be a politician, but you can't be so old that you have no relation to what's happening right now. See, because someone between 40 and 60, likely you have kids that are young adults, high school, college, in their late 20s, and you can relate to their struggles. So you can align your stuff to those things, to your policies to those. Shout out to Crypto Dream. What time do you have to go? I'm actually going to cut the stream off in another 20 minutes. Another 20 minutes. 11:30 is when I got to call it quits here. Or really 11:30. I'm gonna try and push this one to 2 hours for you guys. So, but yeah, keep liking and thank you, Crypto Dream, for your support. Glad to have you in here. Also, one of the great moderators. She's on the YouTube side as well, moderating that side. I might actually make you a moderator there too, as well, because I'm seeing we're starting to get some flow over there. So, but definitely, if you guys want to comment and ask your questions, definitely will be happy to get those questions out for you and shout out to you. And also shout out to Crypto Dream. Go follow his channel on YouTube, Crypto Dream, and I think it's Crypto Dream for us, but it comes up as Crypto Dream. And also follow him on Twitter, follow him on Instagram, follow him on TikTok because he does do a lot of interesting videos on crypto, and that like Cody, that's what he really knows to understand. So definitely give him a shout out and support over there as well. But back to what Legenti said, politicians should have an age cap. Is 100% right. Like when you're 90 years old, like even my dad can't relate to what a 20-year-old is going through right now. And it's not just like he can't relate to their life, like their hardships, their work, because he worked, he bought his house, he bought his townhome in cash, he bought his next house on a mortgage. They did everything they were supposed to do. And that's all he can say. And now people trying to get on board with him, and it's not working because he's just so far away from what is now. Even my mom is trying to say stuff that these don't matter, but she's talking in reference to 1990s, not to what's 2020, and showing her that all how much has changed. It was very eye opening for her. Shout out to the Genti. They are disconnected from the rest of us. Yes. The Vogue, yes, I agree. No older than 60. Yeah, they just can't be older than 60 to be a part of that. I just don't think they should be. I think 65 should be the cap. Because after that, go enjoy your golden years, retire. I also think they should liquidate all stock portfolios and crypto portfolios going forward because they're making legislation and then enriching themselves off of it. Shout out to Crypto Dream. I'm trying to think of how to add to the conversation. Oh well, that's okay. Add when you feel like it. Shout out to do your own research. Baby boomers don't remember what a rising interest environment is like because they were partying like crazy back then. Yeah, they were in their 20s when when it happened. When the rapid rise happened. My parents just got married during the early 80s when interest rates were going crazy. I mean, they're still able to get a home, but they bought their home cash. Well, mostly cash. They had to get a mortgage, but they had to be personally backed by his grandfather to get the mortgage, or my grandfather to get the mortgage. So it was just one of those, times, unfortunately. But things change, things get better, things get worse sometimes. Hopefully, this election cycle might change everything, especially if a new party really arises out of it. Like if libertarians really become mainstream enough, then it's going to be a very interesting election cycle. And hopefully, well, what's also going to affect the election cycle is that we're going to hit the bottom of the economy. We're going to have after the holidays or before Christmas, we're probably going to have record layoffs. We're probably going to have companies like I had in my video on PayPal. You can check it out on YouTube. Um, the video on PayPal, I said like they're going to have to get rid of half their staff, otherwise the stock is way overvalued. And as more and more people start losing their jobs and more older people can't retire and have to stay in their careers, it's going to be rough, and that's all going to fall onto Biden. So that's why I don't think he's going to get reelected because he's not only fighting a bad economy, but he's also going to be fighting that he never did anything for student debt. He promised that he would wipe it out, and it didn't get wiped out. And I even told people he's not going to wipe it out, and everyone said, "No, I was lying." All right, no, I'm wrong. Here we go. Here it is. Almost 3 years later, student debt still a thing. And in actuality, he didn't even push back he didn't even push it back to where he pushed back the deferment. It just kicked in. It's like, nope, gotta start paying him. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Trump barely did what he campaigned on. Yeah, I think the wall was too divisive, especially with the wall was just not getting done. It was too aggressive of a change. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Dream. Politicians get away with a lot of false promises. They absolutely do. I can't argue that. They absolutely do get away with a lot of false promises. But, not everything comes true, but some things do. I mean, Obama didn't do a lot, but he did finally get Obamacare out. But the problem was Trump and Biden didn't have 8 years; they only had 4, and I don't think Biden's going to get another 4. So now, if Biden does get reelected, he might do something about student debt because then he doesn't care; he can't get reelected. Well, that's another worry because both sides want to change how many terms a president can do. So that's another thing that worries me. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, they're both want their candidate to be in office longer. I think it's something about they have to stay in longer to be able to affect change. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Dream. Yeah, Obama changed a lot after first term. Yeah, I mean he did come in during one of the worst economic crises, but when he came in, he did start trying to do effective change, whether it worked or not, or whether it made sense or not. But in the back half of it, he did it. Shout out to Legenti. Obamacare was nice until Trump. We went backwards. Yeah, ever since 2016, the price of Obamacare skyrocketed. And healthcare skyrocketed. So I don't know. I think we just need a complete reset of everything. If we get a complete reset of everything, I think America will be fine. And then we got to resolve the issue with Mexico and the cartels. But I can tell you right now, there has always been an active plan to involve um, significant military force. Like I have a lot of people talk about, especially guys from the hood, talking to me about, oh, no one's going to do anything to cartel. It's like if I roll in 4 divisions of M80 tanks, of the Abrams tank, I'm going to resolve some shit very quickly. And it's like we got one of the hardest trained special ops forces and Navy SEALs and American Rangers. I mean, combine that with the Marines, and we just made 18 freaking carriers that can take down nations. Like, I think where the cartel isn't going to be a problem for those guys. Especially, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but the cartel deleted a Navy SEAL on the border, and like deleted him and his family, and there was hell. I think this was maybe 20 years ago, but they were brutal. It was damn near a war crime what those people did. I mean, they ripped those cartel members apart, piece by piece, literally. There was stories that they ripped them apart and then stuck all their body parts on pikes in the town, all across the town. Anyone who was just in a cartel organization, not even the one that committed the act, anyone in it, those special forces, just U.S. Special Forces came in, just so, and they also stole $18.2 billion of cash from one cartel member. Not stole, but they did. I mean, you can't steal from a dead body. They just X'd them out and then took the cash. Oh man, but I guess we're coming to the close here. I'll leave it for you guys on final thoughts. Yeah, shout out to DeVoe. Obamacare was good. Yeah, it was pretty good in the beginning because I remember you could get good health care for like $100 for the month, and then like 8 years later, I was looking at it. I was like, what the hell? It's like, how are you $400 for the month? It's like, might as well have Cobra. It's like ridiculous. At least Cobra will pay for stuff. But with that said, guys, really stay sharp out there. The economy is definitely changing. The political atmosphere is changing. Everything is changing. So make sure you're staying on top of the news and staying focused on what you're hearing from other people, because all that public opinion from the average person definitely is going to affect your portfolio. So definitely stay sharp, stay alert, you know, do your research and protect your investments as best you can. Also, if you guys want to have a shout out to Big Jerome, have a great day as well. If you guys want to get a little support the channel a little bit more and get early access to a lot of the videos and more exclusive content, you can go to Patreon. It's $3 sign up. You get that. Well, I'm also thinking about adding in a session once a week on Sunday for. I'm thinking about doing maybe like you pay a little bit more, but we'll do like a coaching session with business. I can't coach you on finances. Like you have to make your own decision about finances, but I can coach you on the business because there's a lot of stuff I learned, a lot of mistakes I made, a lot of craziness and BS I had to deal with building these businesses. So I'm more than happy to share that with you guys on that private stream. But I only think I can take on like 10 people at a time. But I'll let you know when that happens and when that starts. So I'm only taking on 10 people at a time because my time is limited, and Honestly, I can't even do 2 interviews in a day. It's soul sucking for me. So I cap my interviews at 2 a day. So I'm gonna try and have 10 of you guys. We can ask questions, build everything, and I'll devote an hour of my time on Sunday. It'll probably be from like 5 o'clock. So I'll have 5 slots available because I'll go up till 10 p.m. and we'll schedule in each hour conversation. Especially if you guys want to start a business, I could coach you through the process of building the business from the ground zero, what you got to do, where to register, what you have to do, how to build it up. No matter what business you do, all of the startup things are really the same, and help you find ways to better position yourself to get an investor to invest for you. But it's not going to cost much. Like, I don't believe providing that service should cost a lot. Like, I understand you have to pay for someone's time and knowledge, but some of these guys are charging like $3,500. No, you need that $3,500 to start that business. You need every goddamn penny. But I'm not going to charge it any more than like a master's of business meeting, which is like $100. So I don't know what I would charge for that, but it'll be on Patreon for you guys. Um, but every Thursday, with any level of Patreon that you have, I will go. We'll have our Thursday live where you can come on. It's for 1 hour, and you can ask anything you'd like. So, but if you want to join the Patreon, link is above. You can join it. Also, I'm still editing those videos for those 6 interviews. I'm just doing it one at a time. And we really got to deal with that. I gotta get those out to you guys because there's a lot of great info in those, but they're only going to be Patreon exclusive. Shout out to El Ginty and Devobe and Big Jerome. Also, you guys have a great day. And Leginty, got to talk about the real estate scams. I've seen a lot of scams in Florida. It was insane. Yeah, Florida is like the #1 place for real estate scams, business scams, investor scams. I think it's because there's a lot of old people down in Florida, and there's a huge poor segment of Florida. So, yeah, I think next Wednesday we'll devote it to our next Wednesday stream. I'll devote it to real estate scams. I'm going to research as many as I can that are coming to light. So, or if you guys know of one that's active and trying to recruit investors, send it to me. I'll do some research. I mean, I can shout out the video to you for you. But with that said, guys, I'm going to clock off here. It's been a solid 2 hours. Really appreciate you guys joining in. Really appreciate all the support. And I appreciate you guys coming in and asking your questions and supporting the channel. Shout out to El Ginty. Appreciate all the knowledge you give us. Hey, I've learned a lot over my 40 years, especially the last like 6 years. Seems like I've been going through a marathon of mistakes and learning. And I'm happy to share it with you guys. With that said, guys, take care. Have a wonderful day. Go chase that bag. And if you're in the Arkansas, Oklahoma area, be careful. We do have quite a heavy storm here. So make sure you only have to go out on the road if necessary. With that being said, thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.